So today we're going to dive into a really powerful true story. It's all about a deep, paralyzing fear and the incredible journey to conquer it. This comes from William Douglas's autobiography of Men and Mountains. You've probably heard this quote a million times. Well, this story is like a living, breathing example of that very idea. And what's wild is that the author, Douglas, actually knew President Roosevelt. His experience shows us just how true this quote is, that the fear of something can be so much more terrifying than the thing itself. Okay, so to really get how he beat this thing, we've got to go back to the beginning. We need to see where this fear even came from. And, it wasn't just one single moment. It was actually two really distinct, terrifying incidents from his childhood that planted the seeds for this phobia. And this timeline is super important. The first event happens when he's just a toddler, maybe 3 or 4 years old. That planted the first seed of fear. But it was that second event, this misadventure as he calls it, that really sealed the deal. That's what took a little bit of fear and just blew it up into a phobia that would haunt him for years. So, picture this. You're just 3 years old, hanging on to your dad at the beach. And out of nowhere, this huge wave just crashes down, knocks you off your feet, and pulls you under completely. For a moment, you're buried in water, you can't breathe, it's total panic. And the crazy part? His dad is just laughing. He thinks it's funny, not realizing the absolute terror his son is feeling. That feeling, man, that gets stuck in your head. All right, so fast forward a few years, he's about 10 or 11 now, and he decides, okay, I'm gonna learn how to swim. He heads to the local YMCA pool, and he's actually just starting to feel a little bit comfortable in the water. But that's when that old fear comes roaring back, and it gets magnified into something totally life-changing. So he's just sitting there by himself at the side of the pool when this big 18-year-old kid, who he describes as a big bruiser of a boy, just walks up to him. The guy says, "Hi, Skinny. How'd you like to be ducked?" And just like that, he picks him up and just tosses him straight into the 9-foot deep end. I mean, can you imagine the shock? He hits the water in a sitting position and just sinks, instantly swallowing water on the way down. He even wrote later that those 9 feet might as well have been 90. The journey to the bottom felt like it was endless. And this is where it gets really fascinating. You've got this battle going on in his head between pure panic and, well, reason. As he's sinking, his lungs are screaming for air, but part of his brain is trying to make a plan. He's thinking, okay, when my feet hit the bottom, I'll push off with all my might and pop up like a cork. A good plan, right? But the physical reality of what was happening, it was just too much. So he hits the bottom, and he puts everything he has into that jump. He uses every last bit of strength to push off. In his mind, he's going to shoot right up to the surface. But no. He just comes up so slowly. It's agonizing. He opens his eyes, desperate for air, for the edge of the pool, for anything to grab onto, and he sees nothing but this dirty, yellow-tinged water. He starts clawing at this surface, but of course his hands just grab more water. It's just absolute, pure terror. And at this point, he's lost all control. His body is just shutting down. His legs feel like they're paralyzed, just dead weights dragging him down. It feels like this immense force is just pulling him under. He tries to scream for help, but nothing comes out. His throat is frozen. And as he starts sinking for the 3rd time, this blackness just takes over. And all the fear, all the terror, it just disappears. He said it was like the curtain of life fell. The next thing he knows, he's waking up next to the pool, throwing up water. And then he hears the bully's voice. But the kid isn't sorry. He's just got this casual, chilling excuse. He just says, "But I was only fooling." Only fooling. Douglas had literally just almost died. So, as you can imagine, that trauma stuck with him for years. I mean, it completely ruined things he should have loved, like fishing or boating. Anytime he got near water, that fear came back. But finally, as a grown man, he just decided enough. He was not going to let this fear run his life anymore. So he did something about it. He hired an instructor to teach him how to swim, piece by piece. And this instructor's approach was just brilliant. He got it. He knew he wasn't just teaching a guy how to do the breaststroke. He was helping him dismantle a deep-seated phobia. So he broke swimming down into tiny, manageable pieces. First, a safety belt on a pulley, letting Douglas feel secure as he swam back and forth for weeks, which let the panic start to fade. Then, hundreds of repetitions of just breathing.
then weeks of only kicking. With every little piece he mastered, his confidence grew, and the fear got pushed back. Finally, they put it all together. The instructor literally built a swimmer from the ground up.
So finally, the day comes in April, and his instructor tells him, now you can swim. The lessons were over. But Douglas knew deep down that the real test was just beginning. Sure, he had the mechanical skills, but could he overcome the psychological terror when he was all alone?
And that's really the key here, isn't it? This distinction. The instructor had done his part, his work was finished, but Douglas recognized that the internal work, well, that was his and his alone. He had to prove to himself that the fear was truly gone for good.
And boy, did he test himself. He didn't just go to the local pool for a few laps. No way. He went straight into the great outdoors. He swam 2 miles, 2 miles across Lake Wentworth. He swam in the Titan River. He went camping by Warm Lake and swam all the way across it and then back again. He was deliberately seeking out deep, open water to really test his nerve. You know, in the middle of one of those swims, a little bit of that old panic did start to creep back in. He called it the old sensation in miniature. But this time, something was different. Instead of letting it take over, he faced it head on. He actually talked to it, kind of mocked it. And just by doing that, the terror fled, and he just kept swimming. So, after all of this, what's the big takeaway? What did he learn from this whole ordeal? Well, this experience gave him this incredibly profound understanding of fear and of life and death itself. This right here is the ultimate takeaway. He realized that in death itself, there is a kind of peace. He remembered that feeling of just slipping into quiet unconsciousness. The terror, he realized, is only in the fear of death. Having experienced both sides now, the stark, shrieking terror that comes before it, and what felt like dying, he understood the difference. The real enemy wasn't death. It was the fear of it. And once he got that, well, that's when he felt true freedom. See, conquering his fear of water was never just about being able to swim. It was about reclaiming his whole life. It unlocked the world for him, allowing him to hike, climb, and just live without that handicap holding him back. His story is just this incredible testament to willpower and to the idea that our deepest fears really can be overcome. It kind of leaves us with a question for ourselves. What is our own deep water? And how do we find the courage to face it?